So, do you remember what we talked about yesterday?
What?
We talked about fractions. We talked about, what are these? Do you guys remember? Do you remember what these are?
No.
Note
Head.
note heads. And this is an,
Open note.
and this is a
Closed note.
closed note
Head.
head. Right, so we have an open note head and we have a closed note head, okay? So today we are going to talk about how we read them, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to start with an open note head. And it's important for us to know that when we notate pitch, we use a line. What is this?
A line.
Do you want to draw your own? Or are you going to sit with me and eat?
I'm hungry.
Okay, go for it. All right, so here's my line. It's horizontal, going across the paper, going across the hamburger. Okay, so if I put a note on the line in music, ooh, this is not a, if I put an open note head on a line, the line actually goes through the middle.
No way.
I know, no way. Crazy, huh? The line actually goes through the middle. Do you want them to be able to see you?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, if so, you want to scooch closer because they can't see you. Okay.
But I don't want them to see me.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, so this is on a line. Then, if we put another open note head here or here, this is considered on a space, and this is on a space. What are these blue ones considered? On a space.
Space?
A space. Yeah, it looks kind of funky, doesn't it?
No.
So let's practice reading this. Now, would you sing after me? Now your mouth is full of food, so you can't do this. But this is something called a pitch pipe. What is it?
A paint knife.
Close. So, mi, do. Can you sing that? So, mi, do. Can you sing that? So, mi, do. Awesome job.
I didn't sing that.
I know, but they sing it.
But
behind
I
us.
want that.
Nope, you're eating right now, and you're not working with me on this. So when you're done eating, we can play with it, okay? Okay, so what we are going to do now is kind of like this, where we just drew one line. I'm going to experiment and see how we do if we use 5 lines. How many lines, Jeremiah?
5.
5. Now, this is very important. So I have 5 lines here.
Let me see that.
No,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Jeremiah, that was excellent. Jeremiah did something that I want you to know how to do also. Jeremiah started from the bottom and counted up when we're talking about lines. Okay, so what I'm going to do is do an open note head here and here and here. They're a little like not proportionate. But I drew, how many note heads here, Jeremiah? You try to decide too. How many note heads? Do you know?
4.
4, very good. Did you count them and find 4 as well? Good. Now, I'm not going to write in all of those solfege syllables that we just did because I want you to get used to reading them without writing in the solfege. But we are going to practice first a little singing. So we're going to go so, mi, do, re, mi, re, do, do, re, do, re, mi, re, do. How'd they do? Did they do okay?
They didn't sing.
Oh, I heard them singing. I heard them singing.
But I didn't hear them.
Really?
I didn't.
Well, I'm sure that they were singing at home. Yep. So, good job.
I said sticking.
What's sticking?
I said that I am thinking.
We are thinking over here. So, now that we know do, re, mi, re, do, and hopefully you've practiced that before you watched this video, we're going to talk about what this looks like on a staff. So if this is do on this bottom little space thing here, then the next note on this line is, what comes next, Jeremiah? Do you know what comes next? If you guessed re, that's correct. So do, re. What comes after re, Jay?
Me.
Me. And then what comes before me?
Ra.
Huh?
Ra.
No, well, no, but yes, but no. Re. So we have do, re, mi, re, your turn, ready, go.
Bum, 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 bum,
Your rhythm was good, your pitch was not. It's a little hard for him to sing while he's eating, so you can do, you can sing it at home. Let's try it again. Do, re, mi, re, your turn. Your turn, ready, go. You're disrupting their practice. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
What a silly
Ba
goose.
ba ba. Ba ba
Okay.
ba.
If you don't finish this, you're not going to get to use the pitch pipe. Bribery. Okay. So here's another example. Now let's do another one. Lines are on this page, Jay. How many lines, everyone?
Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
So there's 10 lines, but you'll notice there's a big space between them. That's because I am going to make two sets of 5 lines. What's 5 plus 5, Jay?
10.
Very good. So I have 10 lines, but because of how they're spaced here, what I can do is make them into different staves. Different what, Jeremiah? Different what? Can you say stave? Okay. What do we do at the end of a piece of music? What do we add? Do you remember? Do you remember? Not one bar line, but a... Do you remember? A double bar line. If you guessed double bar line, excellent. So now my paper looks like this, and I have a double bar line at the end. So technically I just have 1 measure and 2 measures, but I want to add a couple more measures. What do I add to make measures, Jeremiah?
Lines.
What kind of lines?
Like straight up.
Yeah, what do we call them though?
Binds.
Bar lines.
Bar.
Bar lines. Remember, we draw it through the middle of the staff.
It says a bind.
It's not a bind, but
It looks like it.
well, okay. Now, how many measures do we have, y'all?
3,
No,
I think.
no. Count them.
I think 3.
Show me.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so remember this at the end is a double bar line, so that doesn't count as a measure. That's just telling you that it's the end. Now, this is a great thing that I'm glad Jeremiah brought this up. When we're looking at a piece of music, where do we start when we're reading a piece of music, Jay?
We stop it.
Huh?
We stop it.
Where do we start it? We start when we're reading a piece of music up in the top left hand corner. So we start here, and I put a weird little arrow in it. So we start here, and just like we're reading a book, we go all the way across, and then we jump down here and we go all the way across, right? So now how many measures are there, Jeremiah? If you guessed 4, you guessed correct. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So whenever we have measures, we want to make sure that we number our measures. And we want to make sure that we number our measures by putting numbers at the very beginning of each measure, not in the middle, just a little bit after the bar line. So let's count. Ready? We have 1, 2,
1, 2, 3, 4.
3, 4. Very good, very good. Okay. So now that we have our numbered measures, now we're going to make our melody. Are you ready to make our melody? I'm ready to make our melody. Now, we're going to remember this that we just drew here and use this as our map, right? And that do is going to start here right beneath this. And for right now, I'm only going to use open note heads. So I'm going to do 3 beats per measure, and I'm going to go do, re, mi. Which one should we do next?
I don't know.
Do, re, or mi?
Wait.
Re, okay. What should come next?
We.
You only get do, re, or mi.
Me.
Mi. Oh, good. Sorry. Okay. What's after mi?
Way.
What's after re?
Me.
What's after mi?
Me. Way.
You can do me again. You want to do me again?
Just say way.
Okay.
No. Don't draw.
That's right. So me, right? What's next? So I finished up our measure here. And here is our musical piece that we just drew. Okay. So now that we have our piece here, we're going to sing it. Going to pull the pitch pipe. So, mi, do. 1, 2, 3. Do, re, mi, re, mi, re, mi, re, do, mi, do. Do you want to point for me and do, re,
Do.
mi, re, mi, re, mi, re,
No,
do,
these are
mi,
two.
mi, do. Tell me. What's wrong?
You just messed it up.
How? Do you know how I messed it up?
Means you say my word saying do.
You didn't want me to sing do?
You just say the other do right here.
Oh, you wanted this to be do instead of re?
That is do.
No, this is me. I mean, excuse me. I'm sorry. This is re because this is re. And do you see how they're on the same place in the line?
No, I don't want to do it like that.
Well, this is the cool thing, right? This is standard music notation. This is what people all over the world use. But if you have different ideas for writing your own pieces of music, you can do that too. Would you like to draw your own version? Okay. So we're going to stick with the standard piece of music notation right now, okay? Okay. So now let's practice reading this one more time. Do, re, mi, re, mi, re, mi, re, do, mi, do. Okay, excellent job. So I want us to talk a couple things here in regards to the motion, meaning the direction which the melody is going. So a melody can go 3 different ways. A melody can go, well, it can break a crayon, it can go up, it can go down, or it can stay the same. All right, up, down, or stay the same. So we're going to look at this musical example that we just did here, and we're going to draw arrows to show the melody. So from one pitch to the next, it goes up, and from the next pitch to the next pitch, it goes up. Then the next pitch goes down, up, back down. Check and see if this makes sense to you. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. When we jump from this measure to this measure, we have to be careful. This pitch was on a re, and now this pitch goes to a mi. So from re to mi, goes up. Mi to re goes down. Re to do goes down. And then do to mi goes up. Mi to mi stays the same. And mi to re goes down. Here's what I have. Now, I want us to talk a little bit about why we do this and how we describe it. It's really important for us to be able to analyze and think about the melody when we are writing about it or thinking about it. Anytime pitches are going up, we use a fancy word for that. Anytime the pitches are going down, we use a fancy word for that. And the fancy word for up is ascending, and the fancy word for down is descending. Okay, here are what those words look like. Okay, so now if I go back and I look at this example that we just drew, I can say that in measure 1, it's all going up. So that is going up in an ascending motion. Then in measure 2, the melody goes up and down. The melody goes up and down. So we're going to say it's both. In measure 3, there we go. In measure 3, the melody goes down, and then in between measures 3 and 4, it goes back up, stays the same, and goes back down. So we could say both, or technically we could say all. You can describe this. Now, there's one other little component that I want you to know about this, okay? And that is one other word set that we use to describe how the melody goes, okay? And we technically will sometimes use 3 words to describe this, but for today, we're just going to use 2, okay? And we're going to describe them as a step and a skip. So we have a step and a skip. A step occurs when you go from one solfege pitch that we've learned, from like do to re. Or if we're looking at music, it means that you go from one line to the very next space, or from one space to the very next line, something like that. And then if we're doing a skip, it means that we are skipping one of the pitches that we have already learned. So you'll hear me whenever I give you a pitch, I go, so, mi, do. Those are skips because I'm skipping 2 pitches in there. You know one of them, I just saw that. You know one of them, and but do to me is another example of a, no sir, no, hey, look at me. So from do to mi is an example of a skip. Okay, and skips always go from line to line or space to space. Just like that, from line to line or from space to space. So now if we go back to our musical example here, we can then describe in measure 1, hey Jay, in measure 1, are these steps or skips?
Skips.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, so they're actually steps. In measure 1, they're steps because they are stepping from one pitch to the next. Just like the guy who is doing our edging outside is stepping right in front of the window. Do you hear that? Okay, well, it's happening. So these are example of steps. Now in measure 2, look at that. We go from a line to a space. Hey Jay, from a line to a space, is that a step or a skip?
Step.
Very good. It's a step. Now, in measure 3, steps or skips?
Skips.
They're actually steps because it goes space, line, space. Can you say that? Space, line, space. So we say step. And then in measure 4, Mi, mi, do. Step or skip?
Skip.
Why?
Means they go straight and go straight.
But yeah, you're right. It is a skip, but we skipped over what syllable? Mi, mi, do.
These are re, mi, do.
So that goes mi, re, do. And that's a step because it goes mi, re, do. That's in measure 3, but in measure 4, mi, mi, do. Is that a step or a skip?
Skip.
Very good. What pitch is it skipping?
A half.
What pitch is it skipping? If
This
this goes,
way.
which is it? Mi, re, do, and this goes mi, mi, do. Which pitch is it skipping? Mi, re, do, mi, mi, do. Which pitch? Mi, re, or do?
Right here.
Yes. Which one? What's the name of it?
Step 4.
So in measure 4, we have a skip because we're skipping re, mi, mi, do, versus in measure 3, mi, re, do. So you can look and see that in measure 3, we have step down, or we could call it a descending stepwise motion. And then in measure 4, we have an ascending and descending, or a both melodic passage that has skips in them. So a skip-wise, ascending, and descending melodic pattern. And that's really helpful to know when you get into music analyzation and when you're trying to figure out patterns within music, because music is just patterns. Don't you think, Jay? Well, he's wrong. Music is just a bunch of patterns. Thank you so much for coming to our music lesson with us today. I had fun. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
You did?
Just a little bit.
Not too much. They didn't see that. You got to show them in the screen a little bit more. Here, I'll lean over. You gonna tell them?
Just a little bit.
How much? Just a little bit. All right. Thanks for coming to our music lesson.
Bye.
Bye. High fives. High fives for them. High fives. High fives to you. Can you give them high fives?